Hello guys, in this tutorial I will be sewing the jumpsuit pattern pieces which I drafted in a previous tutorial. Its link will be above and in the description box below. Hi, my name is Ayo and I'm reaching you from Lagos, Nigeria. If this is your first time here, you are highly welcome. I upload DIYs, pattern drafting and sewing tutorials every week. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do well and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you are a returning subscriber, your support for my channel is highly appreciated. So now, let's get right into the tutorial. Thank you. So these are the pattern pieces that I will be using for this design. These are the front and back neckline facings. I traced them out from the necklines of the back and the front bodies. Note that these patterns do not have any seam allowances. I will be adding them as I cut them out on my fabric. I will also remember to add zip allowance to the center back of the trouser pattern. So now I've gone ahead to cut out the pattern pieces on my fabric. I've also added the needed seam allowances. I used ½ inch seam allowances all through, except for the side seams of the bodies and the trouser patterns where I used 1 inch seam allowance. Now the first thing I will do is to sew the darts of the back and the front bodies and also the darts for the trousers. For the front bodies, I will be sewing in place both the waist and the bust darts. So this is the front bodies. I will be sewing the waist darts and also the bust dart. I have already notched and marked the dart positions on the bodies and the trouser pieces. So now I will go ahead and sew the darts. So now all the darts have been sewn in place. I will now go ahead and attach the facing of the necklines of the front and the back bodies. I will place the facing on the necklines with the right sides together. And I will first of all pin in place before taking it to my sewing machine and sewing using ½ inch seam allowance. I will go ahead and do that now. So now the faces have been attached to the necklines of the bodice. So I will now go ahead and notch the necklines like so. I will now flip over the seam allowance to the facing. Then I will take it to my sewing machine and will understitch the seam allowance to the neckline of the facing. I will understitch the seam allowance to the neckline of the facing. So I will go ahead and do that now for all the back and the front bodies. So now I've done that, it is now time to join the bodice and the trousers together. So now this is the back. I will place the bodice on the trouser piece like this. Right sides will be together. I will pin the two pieces in place. Then I will take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch using 1/2 inch seam allowance. For the front, I will first of all stitch the trouser pieces together at the center front before stitching it to the front bodice. I will use 1/2 inch sewing allowance for the sewing. So I will notch the center of the bodice like this and I will place it right sides together on the trouser piece. Then I will stitch using 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So now I've joined the bodice and the trouser pieces together for both the front and the back. So now I will go ahead and fix the zip. But first I will join these lower parts together. I will stitch it together before fixing the zip. So now I've gone ahead to fix the zip. I use invisible zip for the back of the dress. So I will place the back piece on the front piece like so. Right sides will be together. I will now go ahead and stitch the shoulder seams together like this using half an inch seam allowance. Then I will fix the size, I will sew the side seams using 1 inch seam allowance. And finally I will sew the inseam using half an inch seam allowance. I will make sure that the right size of the back and the front jumpsuit pieces are together before stitching. I will go ahead and do that now. So now I'm done with the stitching. This is what the jumpsuit looks like now. I will now go ahead and move over to the sleeves. I have 4 pieces here. So the first thing I will do is to join 2 pieces together at the end like this. I first sew the 2 pieces in place with my pins. Then I will take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch it in place using half an inch seam allowance. I will do the same thing for the other 2 pieces as well. So now I've done that. I understitch the seam allowances to the wrong side of the sleeves. So I have already knocked the position of the pleats on the sleeves. So these are the position of the pleats on the pattern. I've already transferred it to the fabric, as you can see. I will now go ahead and fold the pleats in place and I will secure the pleats with my pins before stitching them down on my sewing machine. So now the pleats have been stitched in place. I will now go ahead and fix the sleeves to the armhole of the jumpsuit. But first, I will secure the sleeves in place with my pins, like so. Right sides will be together. Then I will take it to my sewing machine and stick it in place using 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'll go ahead and do that now. So now that has been done, what I will do now is to go ahead and overlock this raw edge. After overlocking, I will now fold this lower part and see it in place using my sewing machine. I will do the same for this other side too. So I will also go ahead and hem the lower part of the jumpsuit. I will use a needle and thread for this so as to have a seamless finish at the hem of the jumpsuit. So this is the final look of the jumpsuit. So that's it guys, we are done. I hope you have learned a thing or two. Do not forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you in my next tutorial. Bye and thank you for watching.